How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Monsters. This is Season 2, Episode 23, and this one's entitled The Bargain. It originally came out May 27th, 1990, and was written and directed by Tom Noonan. He's primarily known as being an actor, but here we see him in the writer-director's chair, so that's pretty cool. The episode stars Kim Greist, Kevin Geer, and Sharon Sharth, and this is a pretty interesting little story. I definitely have some flaws with it, but it's an interesting setup with some few ideas that do play out pretty well. But I think the big thing with this one is it kind of feels like a fairy tale set in modern day. You get things like this woman who's falling deeply in love with this guy, and she's going to make a deal because of that she really shouldn't. We get a mysterious old woman, much like all the mysterious old women in fairy tales, and we even get this enchanted mask. And these fairy tale tropes have been around for a while because, you know, they work. And this episode does keep you engaged, and in turn, it is a fairly good, easy to watch episode. And then, like the fairy tale trope of becoming someone else, someone unrecognizable, they do that pretty well here, and the way they completely change how this character is presented. It's the same actress, I believe, but the costuming and makeup is done in such a different way that it really does feel like someone else, so that's pretty cool. But I will say, one of the episode's big flaws is the fairy tale logic when you're not in fairy tale world does get a little bit frustrating, and to see this girl just go so headlong into I'm going to just agree to these crazy terms of the deal. In reality, yeah, there's just a few moments that I was a little frustrated with the characters, and I will also say the mysterious woman in this episode, when you find out who she is at the end, it doesn't really make sense. You know, she has this power to kind of just know everything, but when she's explained, why would that be one of her powers? And why does she have a really old magazine ad? And why was she able to do something at the very end that the heroine couldn't do? Yeah, a few things just work out a little bit too easy for her. So the underlying, mythology of this episode, I wish was explained a little bit better, because it kind of it does whatever it can to either be flashy or screw over the heroine, and I wish the rules were a little more up to the surface, same with the lore behind this thing, but whatever. Like I said, there's some cool ideas. The haunted mask is pretty cool, the transformation is pretty cool, but it's a story I can intrinsically follow good enough, and you do want her to succeed, and it is a good enough fun little episode, but yeah, just some little bits of it that did irk me, and I guess we'll get into that more in a bit. Let's go ahead and dive into the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to break down and analyze a few things and talk about some specifics. I'll try to be avoiding the end bits, so no major spoilers, but let's dive in. We open up with this woman, and she's the owner of a bookshop in the city, and this regular customer of hers walks in, and she is following him around trying to start up a conversation. There's a really cool visual device where the bookstore is kind of dark because it's so late in winter, and as she's following him around, she's turning on the lights above the individual shelves. It's a cool little narrative device that I did really like. But anyway, while she's totally into this guy, the guy's not really giving her anything back in this conversation. And it's to the point where it's like, okay, you don't have to flirt with her, but at least do the kindness of basic small talk, because yeah, this conversation is really frustrating. I do know people like this in real life, but the whole conversation is just like bashing your head into the wall trying to get something out of him. But he says he's not really a book person, and these are all for his friend, and he doesn't really care. Well, after he leaves, she's flipping through an old magazine and finds an ad saying, "Do you need a new face? Call this number." And without hesitation, she just does. And again, it's a really old ad. Why would it still be working? Why is this phone still connected? Don't worry, when you find out who the poster of the ad is, it doesn't really make terribly much sense. But she comes into the bookstore late at night, and when she answers the door, it turns out the person selling the face looks to be all burnt up, and she's taken aback. However, this lady, she's a pretty good character, a little bit too bubbly for what she's doing, and also you can tell there's something up with her, like, let's measure your face and see if the mask fits you now. But yeah, the mask. So she says what she has as far as a new face goes is this mysterious mask, and when you put it on, you'll be beautiful, and the guy you like will be totally drawn to you. But you can never take it off once you agree to put it on, and she even says that she disobeyed the rules and that's why her face looks this way. So a million red flags here, don't take this deal. But yeah, again, she goes into it just so quick and so headlong. I have to wear this mask forever and ever? Yeah, I totally love this average guy that doesn't pay attention to me. Let's do that. And on top of it, she knows, like, the mysterious woman with the burnt face knows everything about her, like exactly why she wants the mask. And I guess that has something to do with the power of the mask. I don't know why she's all-knowing, but apparently she is. And again, when we get to the end, this is not explained. But what does she want as payment for the mask? Every book in the shop. And I get that it's like a metaphor because books are her life and that's all she cares about. But do you know how much you're wanting the entire inventory of a store? That's thousands upon thousands of dollars. But she's willing to just drop it in a heartbeat. Too bad, there goes her livelihood, whatever. But she puts on the mask, and true to her word, it does make her into a completely different looking person. To the point where she's using a new identity now? That's a little weird. The guy comes back to the store and she goes, oh, that bookstore shut down, I have a videotape store now. And, okay, a few things. Like, did you really need to, even if you look different, take on a new identity? And are you taking on this identity like in a legal fashion, or are you just telling this guy that? Like, did you apply for the bank loan to get your new business started as this new identity? Does the mask come with the paperwork? And also, yeah, she got her inventory back really quickly. It's strange that she didn't just get more books, but she's changing the whole layout of the store, again to impress this guy because, you know, he's a TV repairman, so certainly he'd be more interested in videotapes instead of books, right? Well, turns out this guy really does love her now, and she is going to try to make this relationship work. She has that foot in, she has that infatuation from him. Maybe she can actually do it. Well, we're watching a horror anthology show. Let's just say it's not going to be that easy. And I will say, without ruining the end, that there was one element that I was pretty sure was going to happen, but at the end they did pull out this other interesting element that I didn't predict, and I thought that was a nice and interesting pull. Again though, when you find out who the mysterious lady is, it really doesn't explain her powers or why she can do the things she's done or why she's had an ad in a really old magazine with a phone number she's kept up with for so long, but whatever. Overall, this is an intriguing episode with a cool mask and several things that do work, but again, this head over heels love story and making a deal that you totally shouldn't, and a villain with a vague power set. I do wish they mapped this out more because again, fairy tales can play it a little fast and loose when you're in fairy tale world, but in real life, I'd want it to be a little bit more grounded. But overall, this episode was captivating and had some things I liked. So not a bad episode by any means, but it just irked me in a few places, but other than that, relatively solid. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Monsters playlist. If you guys want to see my reviews for the past episodes, you should be able to find them there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist here. Have a good day now.